Hey guys, in my last video I spoke about how to collect the user feedback and I spoke about a lot of different methods and mechanisms you can use for that. Today I'm going to talk about what do you do after you have collected all of that user feedback, because I've seen a lot of product managers struggle with actioning the user feedback. They know how to collect it and they are literally sitting on top of that rich information and not doing anything about it. So today's video is exactly solving that problem that product managers face. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. Now we all know that prioritizing that user feedback is really important so that you focus your efforts on the most impactful thing and then build only the ones which are going to be impactful for everybody in general. You don't want to be in a situation wherein you are building something because one user asked for it and nobody else gets benefit from it. Your company doesn't get any benefit from it. So it was a wrong decision that you made. So that is why it's important that you identify what are the most impactful things before you think about even implementing the user feedback that you have collected. Now, this is a systematic approach that I would recommend doing. The first one, it's collect and organize the feedback. So if you have not seen the video that I'm referring to, I'm going to link it above and I'm also going to link it in the description box below. But there are multiple ways you can collect user feedback. Once you've collected that, it's important for you to organize it. So why the organization is important is because so that you can pick out things for prioritization. So organize them into some themes or some categories. So a lot of user feedback that you will get, they will definitely have some similarities in them. Some of them could completely be different. You can put them in ad hoc bucket or whatever, but there would be some similarities in the type of feedback that you get. So organize them into categories and make themes out of them, so that after you have collected the feedback, say for that quarter, now you're sitting on a feedback, you have 100 feedback as an example. The number of feedback points that you have are 100. What are you going to do about all of those 100 points? So if you organize them and if you categorize them based on certain similarities, it's going to be easier for you. For example, you could say that these 20 feedback points are related to small UI design level changes. These 20 feedbacks are altogether new features that we want to build, which needs proper research on how do we build it. These are these 20-30 feedback points, these are like minor enhancements which we can do, which a lot of people are asking. So there would be a lot of similarities and you will see a lot of people are asking for similar sort of things. So you don't write them 10 times, you just say that this is one thing which 10 people have asked for. So make sure you are categorizing it and you are organizing it in a way so that you are able to do something about it for your own sanity, to be honest. So that would be the first most logical step for you to do. A couple of other categories you could create is like, these are performance related issues that users are facing. These are bugs which the users are facing, which we need to solve for. Or these are, something related to like a general usability of the platform. So, make sure you are categorizing them into something that's easier for you to take an action on. Now, after you have categorized them, the other one would be analyzing them and then further segmenting them down. So the segments that you do for each individual of those categories should be in 3 ways. First, which ones are the high impact, which ones are medium impact, which ones are the low impact. So if you categorize, after you have done the categorization, suppose you have come up with like 5 categories of bugs and each of them having like 10, 20, 15, whatever, each of them having those user feedbacks in each of these buckets. Now for each bucket, further categorize it down, further segment it down based on high impact, medium impact and the low impact. Now as the name suggests, the high impacts are ones going to be which are like the critical issues which most users are facing and people are basically not able to do the basic tasks that they should be able to accomplish. So those type of things would ideally fall under high impact. Medium impact, I think again, and as the name suggests, these are things or feedback points which are important, yes, but they are not necessarily the blockers for people, or maybe only a handful of people are facing it, but again those are not blockers. So those ones are mostly going to be categorized as medium impact, and the low impact are ones which are going to be like a couple of people raise them, like maybe they don't like this button color, maybe they don't like this font, or maybe they don't like this placement. A couple of examples, but the ones which have a low impact, like things which could definitely be fixed later. So these are the further segments that you can build out of the categories at which you've already built. Now, the next very important step that you're going to do is align all of these feedback points with your product's vision and goals. So again, I have spoken about the OKR system of an organization, the company's vision and mission statement, and how important it is for a product manager to know about all these things. I'm going to link that video above and in the description below as well. But once you have that feedback, once you've categorized them, even in the categories, you have further segmented them based on impact. After that, you have to see which ones of these align with the product goals, with the OKR that I am chasing, and which ones don't. Right? So make sure you are, labeling them in a way that, yes, this is something that I wanted to build, but I had not really thought about it. Yes, this one is there. Yeah, but maybe that's not the direction I'm going in. So, make some clear distinction on sheet or wherever you're doing this activity, that you are able to differentiate all of those feedback points based on the things which align with your product's goal, your company's OKR, your company's mission and vision statement. So do that, and I think you will get a really good confidence level on things that you want to pick up. Now, once you've done that, just assess the frequency and severity of the issues. Like, how frequently are those occurring, how severe it is, or how impactful it is. So the ones which have higher severity and higher frequency are probably going to be prioritized first. So just mark on that feedback list on the severity and the frequency. Now, after that, go a little deeper. Just identify the user segmentation. Identify issues which are impacting a lot of users, as opposed to features which are just impacting like single person, 2 people, just because they don't like it. So things which are things which are impacting a lot of people, a lot of customers, that's probably the one which is going to be of higher priority. The other point after this is something to assess the business impact. So I think I say this often in my videos. Yes, it's important for you to do everything that a user wants, but at the same time, you have got to assess whether it's really beneficial for the business as well, right? Ask questions. Will it lead to increased user satisfaction? Will this lead to increased revenue? Will it lead to increased sale of the product? So is there a positive business impact that is getting addressed by this particular user feedback or not? So just note the business impact on your sheet as well for the things which have a business impact. Now, after this, also assess the technical feasibility, right? So you might need to take help of the engineering manager at this point, and just sit with them, make sure that they understand what you're trying to do. Just give them the whole context, and just at a higher level ask them how much of time is it going to take. We're not asking days or months or weeks, we are just asking at a higher level. Like a t-shirt size estimate is a good way to assess the technical feasibility at this point, because we don't know the lot of nitty-gritties. It is like at a higher level, and the engineering manager should be able to provide you with that data point. So assess things which are like, this feature, yes, this is great, but it's going to take like 6-7 months to build. Then you probably are not going to pick that up, right? But whereas things, this is impacting a couple of users, yes, the severity is also medium, so maybe but this is going to be fixed in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then that is something that you should probably pick up. So at this point, you're not ticking up anything. I just gave an example. At this point, you are just highlighting all of the things which I'm saying in your sheet and marking them in front of each and every feature. Like from a technical implementation standpoint, how much of an effort is involved to build this particular feature. Now, the other point which I'm going to say is might come off as a surprise to a lot of people, but it's something called a stakeholder input. Now, a lot of times product managers think that they have to do everything and they have to solve all the problems, which is true in most of the cases, but you do not necessarily have to do everything yourself. There is no harm in asking for inputs from other people who have a lot of knowledge about the similar product, similar customer base, similar company. So I think it's important if you can identify a few stakeholders who can really provide you insights into this, and you don't need to show them the entire sheet and get them involved in everything. Just in general, ask them. Maybe you could discuss those categories and maybe just hand pick a couple of feedback points which you think you could implement, but then you're confused which one should I do or not. And then, get review of those hand-picked feedback points from them. What do you think? Do you think this is something which will be beneficial based on your history, or based on, how you have spoken with the customers, based on how it's going to benefit the business, based on the product line that you are working in, stuff like that. So you could, just let it be open for discussion, and you might discover a lot of valuable insight out of it. So don't think you have to do everything. There's no harm asking for a stakeholder to provide their feedback, but be cautious on which stakeholders you ask and which feedback points do you want to discuss with them. As I said, you cannot discuss the entire 100 feedback points with them. It's not their job, it's yours. So make sure you are handpicking a couple of them, maybe the ones which fall under a similar theme, or maybe the ones which are related and which you feel we should pick up, but then you're not really sure which out of these should I pick up. So do ask for stakeholder input in some cases wherein you feel it will be really beneficial. Now, I mentioned a point earlier that, identify whether that particular feedback aligns with your product goals or not. So in that also identify whether it's like a short term, it aligns with a short-term vision or a longer-term vision. So I think marking all of these within the sheet, within whatever sheet you're using, whatever process you're using, so marking all these points at the end is going to give you a really good result. So, maybe some feedback points could be good for a shorter term, but some of them could be good from a longer term perspective. So just make a note of all these things when you're doing this exercise. So by now I've discussed a lot of points. Now the way I envision it is, there is an Excel, and here you have listed in the first column, you have listed those 100 feedback points you've gathered from different user feedback channels that you have set up. On the top, on the first row, you are mentioning all the feedback points, not the feedback points, all the prioritization points which I mentioned. Does this align with the product goal? Does it align with product mission? Or what does stakeholder has to say about it? Is this a higher impact one? Or which category does it fall in? So all those are the rows, and then you have this beautiful sheet wherein for each and every all of those 100 feedback points, 100 could be like an exaggerated way to say it, you might just have 50 or 20, but either ways this exercise is going to be helpful for you. So that way you can see for everything what does the entire map look like, and when you look at it collectively you will get a good picture, like okay, for these 5 things the impact is really good, it's going to be beneficial for a lot of users, it's going to take relatively less effort than the other one, and then you will automatically get an idea on which feedback point do I need to pick up. So there are a lot of prioritization methods available out there, like which I personally use for, not for prioritization at this larger scale, because I gave an example of 100 feedback points, but like for things which are in my backlog, or maybe 1 or 2 features which I'm confused about, I would use the ICE methodology, impact, cost, effort. I have spoken about impact, cost, effort in all these points, and then I have also spoken about a lot of other points in this. So you could do a mix and match of whatever you feel is right, but what I'm trying to say is when you are prioritizing a lot of points that you've got from the users, end user as a feedback, there are a lot of things that you need to consider, and when you map all of that in front of you in an Excel, you will get a good idea at the end of that exercise. Okay, these boxes are really checked for all of this. I think this is something that will be really good for me to implement now, and this is something that can go like 2-3 months later and stuff like that. So this is like a prioritization exercise. Any prioritization exercise you do, it's all about what are the data points which will help you make that decision. So when we talk about ICE methodology, so impact, cost and effort are data points which will help us make a decision. Similarly, when you are doing an exercise at this scale wherein there is a lot of user feedback and you are really confused on what to do, then instead, apart from just those 3, you need additional data points to make a decision. So this is what I think would really help you to prioritize that huge list of features that are present, and I would highly recommend that you try all of this out. Now do let me know if I missed out on anything, or if there's something that you follow when you're prioritizing a feature list. I am not going to get into how stuff gets into backlog and how you're going to prioritize that. Like that is going to be like a subset of this whole feature factory that we are talking about. So that is like for a separate video. I think I've spoken too much for today's. But yeah, today's session was about prioritizing the user feedback, which usually is huge, but people are really confused about what to do. So with all these data points in mind, I hope this provides you good context into what are the things that you need to consider before you make a decision on what do I prioritize. So do let me know via comments on what do you think about all of these data points, and if there's anything that I missed and you use and it's really beneficial for you, and you've tried it a lot of times. Let's just engage in the comment section below. If there's nothing else, I'm going to see you all next week. Bye bye.